another roundtable discussion at Bike Magazine's Bible of Bike Test 2013. Tonight we're discussing the Santa Cruz Tallboy LTc. This is our long travel 29er trail bike. They call it a trail bike. Some other companies might call it an all mountain bike. The really important thing to know here though is this is the bike that people wanted 4 years ago when Santa Cruz first introduced the Tallboy, which if you don't know what the Tallboy is all about, I think it's fair to say it's the first 29er that everyone universally loved. Up until that time,
including us,
including us. Up until that time, 29ers had this reputation as handling like semi-trucks or tractor trailers. The steering is goofy, the wheelbase is too long, the chainstays are sprawling, and the Tallboy came around and was just fun and playful. And immediately people started to say, what if you could just build this bike with, instead of 4 inches in the back like the Tallboy, what if you made it 5? And what if instead of having a 4-inch travel fork, you had a 5-inch at the front? And finally, 4 years later, this bike is here. They have the aluminum version, this is the carbon version. The question I think that we're all asking ourselves is, does this bike live up to all that hype? What do you guys think?
I love that it's so hard to pick a top 3 in the category, but I think this one lands squarely in somewhere in all of our top 3s.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and it's because it doesn't land squarely in the trail. We say all mountain. Like this is something you like. There's a lot of opportunities to catch air and you know, get some transition and like just it's a super playful, fun bike, which I never thought I would say about a 29-inch, let alone a long travel 29-inch. Like, so it's we agreed that this build is a little bit heavy, but I don't think any of us. That's not the first thing we started talking about when we sat down. We're not, this is a heavy bike. We're like, this is a fun, rad bike. It's super capable.
Yeah. And especially those of us who'd ridden the aluminum version prior to that, this is so much better. It's so much lighter.
Yeah, I mean, you and I did a dual test review in the magazine before, and that was our chief complaint with the aluminum bike, is that, you know, it was definitely over 30 pounds. And, you know, with all these 29ers, you have to manhandle them a little bit more than you would with a 26er, right? You have to be more aggressive if you're going to ride aggressive terrain. And you felt that with the aluminum version. I didn't think this bike felt as heavy as it actually is. It's built up burly here with the 34 fork, which is a fork that this bike deserves.
I agree.
But you could, I mean, conceivably, you could drop a couple pounds off this bike if you were going to go the whole weight weenie route and try to make it lighter. But I like it just the way it was built up.
Yeah, I did too. And going back to it not feeling as heavy as it is, it's crazy efficient as a pedaling bike. The VPP is really dialed for that, the way Santa Cruz runs it.
Suspension design would be different today if it weren't for the VPP.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's chasing it.
Yeah. I don't think our test loop got anywhere near the bike's limits. It's very incredibly capable. I'd love to try and find the bike's limits, but it cornered awesome because of that. And I like the yellow color.
Yeah.
They also do 7 different build options.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. The way it's built up here, which is the SPX AM29, $5,700. So no, it's not cheap. But it's actually, in the world of high-end mountain bikes, it's not crazy, stupid expensive. But frame, about $2,700 for the frame. And this again is a carbon version. The aluminum version is considerably less expensive, though heavier. And this has a 142 by 12, which is, some people might argue that's overkill because it's a solid rear triangle. The bike is already crazy stout. I personally am a huge fan of 142 by 12, and I'm glad they went that way. It's just a better setup.
Yeah.
And most of the wheels you're going to be looking at for this bike, the modern, sexy wheels are going to be 142 by 12.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you know, cheers to the Tallboy.
Cheers
Tallboy
to the
LTC.